Why do middle school teachers go out of their way to make high school sound like some kind of max security penitentiary? It's a bizarre rite of passage where they weaponize the unknown, turning the next phase of your education into a chilling, existential threat. But the absolute worst example I ever witnessed involved a truly shocking comparison. The story starts with a genuinely tragic event. When I was in middle school, one of my classmates, Michael, unfortunately passed away after a prolonged sickness. It was devastating for the whole school, a heavy dose of real-world heartbreak in an otherwise shielded environment. And you may be thinking, Tyler, what does that terrible event have to do with your teacher making high school sound scary? Well, brace yourself. A few weeks after the funeral, there was a day in our history class where everyone was collectively losing their minds. We were giggling, throwing paper, tapping pens, classic unfocused middle school chaos. Our teacher, who already had a notoriously short fuse, reached her breaking point. She suddenly screamed, a full-throated, ear-splitting sound that instantly silenced the entire room. Every kid froze, heads snapping toward her, anticipating the usual tirade about disrespect or grades. But what she said next went far beyond a standard disciplinary lecture. She stood there, breathing heavily, and looked around the room at all of us, her eyes blazing with fury. Then she delivered the line that cemented my terror of high school. You guys think you can act like this in high school? You can't. If you try acting like this over there, you're gonna end up like Michael. Michael, I should remind you, was the kid who had passed away. The silence that followed wasn't due to obedience. It was due to sheer, horrified bewilderment. What did she even mean by that? Was it a threat of death? Did she mean the stress of high school would literally kill us? Or was it some profoundly warped metaphor about being removed or lost from the system? Whatever the intended meaning, it landed with the force of an actual threat. It sounded like she was guaranteeing our demise or disappearance if we didn't conform. I was absolutely terrified of high school after that. I genuinely spent the rest of my 8th grade year convinced that high school was going to be a brutal military-style institution where the teachers ruled by fear and any minor infraction resulted in catastrophic, life-altering consequences. I imagined guards, silent hallways, and classrooms where you were expected to sit perfectly still for 90 minutes straight. But the reality was the complete opposite. When I finally got to high school, the teachers did not care at all. Not in a negligent way, but in a totally relaxed, you're an adult now, manage yourself way. High school was so incredibly chill that the teachers treated us like peers, not prisoners. I distinctly remember playing Call of Duty on my Nintendo DS with one of my history teachers during our extended lunch break. My high school experience was defined by freedom, respect, and teachers who were more concerned with teaching content than enforcing draconian silence. The whole thing made me realize that my middle school teacher wasn't trying to prepare us for the rigors of high school. She was just trying to control a chaotic classroom of 13-year-olds using the only heavy emotional ammunition she had left. I'm pretty sure that teacher was just trying to threaten us into compliance, using an appalling, unforgivable analogy to get a few minutes of quiet. And for a long time it worked. The fear was real, even if the premise was utterly ridiculous. The fact that the ultimate threat turned out to be the ultimate anticlimax is the only way I can process the darkness of that moment.